name is Elliot Howard. I am chairman of the board of Services Cooperative Association, and my guest today and co-host actually is Jerry Cooper, who's past chairman of the board for Services Cooperative Association. Services Cooperative Association is a business cooperative development group, which actually has been chartered by the city of Houston for business development, helping entrepreneurs of all backgrounds, genders to pursue their goals and dreams of business ownership, providing services and mentorship to those business owners and professionals so that way they can become more effective leaders within their business and becoming pillars within the community. So, and today we have, again, Jerry Cooper, who is the CEO of CDC Integrated Services, and he's also been a past chairman of the board for Services Cooperative Association. Hello, Jerry. Thanks for joining us. How would you advise a young manager, a young business leader, a young business owner, or they could be experienced and still have the same issue? How would you advise somebody how to bring about that change once that negative sentiment has crept its way into the group, the team, the organization?
Well, the cold hard truth is that once a supervisor has been the instrument of creating the negativity, it's very hard for that supervisor to reverse that. He often has to bring somebody else in to reconstruct the team's cohesion. And that's why they sometimes bring in folks like myself, or if the company has a professional trainer on board, they'll bring that trainer in to do the team building so that the supervisor can work with a group that somebody else helps them repair, because that third person is key to recreating the integrity of the group and the trust factor between the employees and the supervisor. That not only does the cohesion of the group need to be repaired, but the trust factor between the supervisor and the employees need to be repaired as well. And that can't happen with the supervisor by himself. He's always going to have somebody else help him repair the damage that he or she created in the first place.
Okay, and sometimes those situations can be fixed quickly, and sometimes it's a long road.
That's correct.
To that redemption.
Yes.
So, so how key is patience for all parties involved?
Well, patience is a key, but one of the things that the supervisor has to recognize that it's imperative that he solicit feedback far more often than he had in the past, or she had in the past. It sounds kind of simple to say and somewhat trite to say, but the simple fact of the matter is that you need to ask your employees for feedback on a routine basis. And when the supervisor is the one that drove when the supervisor is the source of the conflict and he's trying to extricate himself from that, and he brings a third party in to help him reconstruct the dynamic, it's critical that he have conversations that are open-ended conversations with his team, that he invite their input, that he make it clear to them that he values their contributions. That's especially important if there's been a negative environment and you're trying to change it to a positive environment. You have to get their buy-in, not only from a functional standpoint, but from an emotional commitment as well. And so it's key at this point, when you're working to rebuild something, that the whole team is intimately involved in the rebuilding process.
So then going forward, because I at some point, I think, because in the scenario we're talking about here, where the manager was definitely the focal point of or the reason for the wedge that was created, and obviously taking the active step in bringing that third party to come in and help reset everything. Going forward, how besides getting the feedback from the team, how often or more frequently will that manager have to have more interaction one-on-one with that team to show that there is that the manager has changed? Or is it just a fact of having that consistent behavior of showing that change through his or her own performance over time, or a mixture of both?
Well, depends on the size of the group. If it's a small group with a few people, it's going to be easy to arrange one-on-one meetings um, over a period of time with each member of the team. If it's a larger group, it becomes more challenging to have periodic one-to-one meetings with the members of the team, simply because of the size. So the group size creates a demand on the supervisor to be fair and impartial, balanced and impartial in terms of the number of times that he meets individually. You don't want to meet individually more often with some than with others. So if you're going to meet individually with everybody, you have to do it consistently. So maybe you have to work out a schedule over the course of a year that he or she meets with the team members, all of them, 3 times during the course of the year, or something like that, or 4 times during the course of the year, whatever their schedule will permit them to do. But he or she has to be very careful to make sure that each individual member of the team has the same opportunity for the one-to-one sit downs.
Right.
More importantly, he needs to sit down with a group on a fairly regular basis, weekly, bi-weekly, to have feedback from the team on how they see things going. He has to demonstrate, or she has to demonstrate, that he is always, or she is always, willing to listen on a real-time basis to what's going on and what their concerns are.
All right. So then, that being said, we're talking about companies of different sizes, and where all companies of any size, there's always the beginning. And of course, Services Cooperative Association deals with people from all backgrounds and all, but we do have a number of individuals that come through and they are starting out. And I've found that how you start setting up a foundation that can lend you up to having more of a success going forward. So how, I think that conflict is, I think it's fair to say that conflict is not avoidable. I mean, you work in business long enough, career long enough, you're going to have conflict. But what can a business owner starting out do with setting the foundation of his or her business that can basically mitigate or limit the conflicts to having, like, because there's some conflicts that are avoidable if you set up your business the correct way. How would you advise a entrepreneur in doing that, so that way then if they do have conflicts, it's conflicts that actually are things that are tantamount to actually bringing about positive change, and not having to constantly fight back from a negative situation as they grow?
Okay, you bring up a very, very important point. Let's set the idea of conflict aside for one moment. Small businesses operate in a different dynamic. So companies starting out, they may have just one employee, the owner. If the owner is fortunate, he has 2 or 3 people working for him to help advance the business. The challenge for any business starting out is to recognize that everything has to be systemic from the beginning. You were at a point in your past a solo entrepreneur. You were all by yourself,
Yes.
building your business. And a lot of people find themselves in that situation. And they find themselves wearing many hats: accounting, sales, marketing, the IT aspects of it, the developing the product in whatever form or shape that takes. But they never, in the toing and froing of every business day, they never stop to think about the fact that each of these steps has to be written down and organized so that they become the seeds for a system. If you're going to be selling your product or service, you have to write down the key steps you're going to take to sell your product and service,
Right.
and for marketing it. So it doesn't do you, so many solo entrepreneurs or small business owners, they start out and they're all over the board, and they stay all over the board for a long time. And one of the things that SCA does is it quickly teaches them to focus on, if they're going to be doing the administration of their business, then they have to understand how to organize the administration in a way that is, they do it the same way this week and next week and the week after and a month from now. They organize and systematize the administration of their company. Whether you're talking about the CEO role, or the marketing manager role, or the IT role, the administration has to follow whatever process that you set up, and you have to follow consistently. And so you have to set up, call them hats, if you will. At any point during your work week, you wear different numbers of hats, but you always have to be able to bring up your script for that particular hat.
Right.
Whether it's the CEO hat or the marketing hat or the sales hat or the IT, you have to be able to rely on something that you've written and can follow consistently from day to day or week to week. And it surprises me how many small companies take way too long to figure that out for themselves. And many of them ultimately basically fold because they never have achieved, they've never systematized the way they do business enough to be successful. And I think that's where SCA plays a very, very important role. It teaches people how to systemize things quickly and constructively in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And with that, that's a perfect way to conclude our topics for the day. Thank you, Jerry, for taking the time to teach us and also share about the business topic of the week. Both of them were a perfect marriage for what we were wanting to discuss for today. And I know that I learned a lot, and I know people that will be listening to this podcast will definitely get a lot from it. So if you mind telling us about CDC Integrated Services and where people can find you and utilize what you do so well.
Well, the CDC Integrated Services can be found on the internet. We are www.cdci-mediation.com. We provide a range of conflict-related services for businesses that have employees over a certain number. Our ideal companies are companies with 100 to 1,000 employees that have a structure and organization where it makes sense to call us in to help with things like conflict. And we can do a traditional dispute resolution between two employees using mediation techniques, between a supervisor and employee, or it can be a structural organizational conflict of one kind or another. We are a veteran-owned company, and so we encourage folks to visit the website, and we have a lot of information on our website. Not only do we have a number of years worth of articles on the various subjects dealing with conflict and other subjects related to conflict, but my books are also available on the website that provide additional insight into how to resolve conflict in the workplace. We like to call ourselves the bridge that spans the divide between individuals and companies in conflict.
All right. Well, again, thank you. And please, everybody, take take notes of what he has discussed and take notes on how to contact Jerry Cooper with CDC Integrated Services. Thank you, one, for your service to the country. Thank you, sir, for your service to the community through Services Cooperative Association and what you've provided for education and teaching many entrepreneurs over the years, including myself. And
Thank you, Elliot.
and of course, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jerry Elliot Howard. I am the current chairman of the board for Services Cooperative Association. You can visit the Services Cooperative Association website by visiting servicesca.org and visit and find out all the knowledge about Services Cooperative Association, as well as the history and what the purpose and the charter for the organization is. Also, you can register for the CrossRoads Business Building Breakfast, which happens every Wednesday at the corner, currently at the Corner Bakery at 9311 Katy Freeway in Houston, Texas, within the Kroger Chase Bank Shopping Center at the corner of Echo Lane and Katy Freeway. Every Wednesday, without fail, 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. We take care of the breakfast. The registration before Monday is only $20, and with it you get marketing on entrepreneurs, as well as opportunities to also, upon coming to the meeting, finding out other ways that you can promote your business, and also being also on the website for the upcoming year to come with the other opportunities that we have. As well as we are looking for membership, and again, you get to find that out as well by joining us when you come to the CrossRoads Business Building Breakfast meetings. And we look forward to seeing you all. So look forward to, please follow us on the YouTube channel, as well as our Instagram page, and any information and knowledge that we provide through those vehicles, as well as our Facebook page, the Services Cooperative Facebook page, that you can go through and find out more information about the organization, lessons, advice, and who you need to contact, because Jerry Cooper and other members are available to provide advice and meet with you at any time. So look forward to seeing you all again. And thanks again, Jerry, for being our guest. My name is Elliot Howard, and we'll see you next time.
Great. You have a nice afternoon and look forward to other opportunities.